Ain't gon' believe this, it's your boy Squint talking that shit, go and tell him what it is. Just a man and his podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. One by one, it's a tag match. Either way for me, cause I'ma make a bloodbath. TST, make you see stars when I throw hands. Keep on spitting bars after bars, like the cage, man. I'ma get the Hardy.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Squints here with another episode of A Man and His Podcast. Today we have a special guest. Introduce yourself.
I am tripping balls. Presently, no, but etherically, forever, yes.
So who is Tripping Balls?
Twitter troll who came out of a minor Kentucky wrestler's ball sack and is now on your podcast, Mr. Squints.
Absolutely.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am, I almost said my real name. I am Squints. I'm your boy Squints. They call me the Hard Cam Honcho, the podcast Pookie. No one's ever called me that. I'm trying to make up nicknames for myself.
Oh, it's good. It's gonna work for you. You have to put it on a t-shirt.
I do want to say though, we are live. So if you guys want to comment anything, go ahead, comment whatever, and I will be sure to address them. And yeah, how you been though?
Oh, just well, okay. What would you imagine the life of somebody on Twitter all the time calling themselves tripping balls? It is what it is, but it's better than it could be. You know? I have
Absolutely.
some fun stuff coming up with Midwest Territory Wrestling out of Cole Radrick's promotion out of Spencer, Indiana, and XCF, Shane Mercer's promotion in Jeffersonville at the arena. That's about
The
it.
arena. How many shows do you think you've attended at the arena?
I feel like the assumption is that I've attended a lot more than I have. I popped in on a regular basis after COVID, like around Thanksgiving 2020. I started going to IWA really regularly, right at the last year of that whole situation. What really sucked me in is, you know, it was a Thanksgiving show, Thanksgiving 2020. There's a guy, Lincoln Mosley, and he took a cake to the face in a way that I've never seen. You know, there's so many situations where a wrestler gets a cake to the face, but the way this guy took this cake to his face on Thanksgiving night in front of 40 people, it was like, wow. You know, it pulled me in because before in terms of like going to indie wrestling shows, I was very weary. I wasn't used to driving around a lot. I live in Lexington, Kentucky. There's not a whole lot of access to independent pro wrestling, at least when I started getting into wanting to attend it. So you'd have to go at least an hour and a half either way, wherever. Especially for shit like IWA, which is what I was into, the fucking crazy shit. I didn't get to attend as much shit as I wanted to, but when I did, yeah, the arena towards the end, the arena, it just kind of sucks you in. It's comfortable, you know. It's kind of creepy. It just feels right.
I've never been. I want to attend it. Attend a show there at least once in my life because I've heard
Have you
nothing but
ever
horrible things.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
Have you ever been to a WrestleMax show or one of their or seen their? You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about? Wrestle?
Yeah, I did commentary for them this weekend. WrestleMax?
Yes, that's awesome. They had a show at the arena one time, and God bless them. I was there, damn it, and I was cheering and having a great time. but there was about 9 people there. It was one of the roughest shows. This is not meant to throw shade on them. They've ran great shows. WrestleMax is awesome, but that was an experience. Gary J, I think it was him and Mike Outlaw, maybe.
It was.
Shit out of each other, and about nine people. That was a great, like, people. A lot of people look at shit like that and they're like, "Wow, that was a fucked up show." You know, I'm gonna try to forget that, push that away. Like that. Those are the shows in my eyes that like make or break a wrestler to me, or make or break anybody. Like, who can still deliver in that environment? I just loved it. There was a great Jake something match on the show too. I think him and the former Karam.
Oh, Zico.
Yes, Zico.
Zico. Yeah.
That was a, yes.
I heard about that show because I remember when they were going out there. I was like, all right, go to the arena, hell yeah. But like I said, I've heard nothing but horrible things about the arena. Like, I heard there was a dead bird in the bathroom at one point.
Oh yeah, I was talking about that. I had the picture of the dead bird. I was at a benefit show for a wrestler, you know, trying to raise money, and to raise money at the arena is it's the arena, and you know you're gonna get what you're gonna get, and you'd think that when somebody comes up and approaches you about there's a dead animal directly in front of where I have to piss and or shit and or just spend some alone time. Like, maybe they would want to address that. I just vividly remember going up to whoever was at the concession stand that day. Hey, yeah, and I'm wanting to be like, trying to be cool about it. I wasn't trying to make a big deal because, I mean, I took a fucking picture of it because I'm a fucking piece of shit. I didn't want to make a big deal about it to the person at the concession stand. So, hey, there's a dead bird, like a dead bird, like right in front of the toilet, and she was just so inconvenienced by it. I've never seen such. It's like I'm not trying. Like, let's just get rid of this dead bird. Like, if you have utensils for me to remove the dead bird, I want this building to work out well, but yeah, that was not a great story. I tried to run with the dead bird. I tried Squints.
No, like I said, I've heard that. I think I heard a story from Hoodfoot. I think Hoodfoot said a story about how somebody was tossing a sofa out of a balcony across the street or some shit.
There's videos of that. Yeah, that was a whole ordeal. Man, I've been out at the arena at the legendary 6-7 hour long Paradigm tapings, the UWFI tapings that they used to run, and going out to the parking lot to do whatever it is that people would do in the Jeffersonville Arena parking lot, and just hearing the shrill screams of it sounded like a reincarnated Luna Vachon summoning the devil up on about 8 stories high, and you can't see her, but you can hear her, and it's the kind of shit that haunts you, stays with you in a good way. I love it. That's the shit that I yearn for. The weirdness. I'll remember the fucking Luna Vachon lady at the 8th floor balcony over 8 to 8 minutes of fucking bullshit holes and whatever the fuck. Save that. I don't need that. There's enough of that for me. But bring me to the weird shit.
So, I want to know about your YouTube channel. I know about it. I'm not sure if my audience does. What is your YouTube channel? What's on it, etc.?
It is it's. I mean, at this point, I've uploaded all of the tapes, but it's just a collection of my dad's tapes. Crusher Bones was his wrestling name. He wrestled I guess most prominently, you would say in like the USWA for Jerry Lawler in the mid '90s, teaming with he used to be Moondog Cujo and Cousin Junior in the WWF with Hillbilly Jim. His name is Lanny Keene. He wrestled with my dad as Big Daddy Cyrus. He brought my dad in to the USWA as his tag team partner because they were friends wrestling on an independent promotion in the Kentucky area called the Mountain Wrestling Association, which is a whole other story in terms of my dad's stuff. But yeah, Lanny Keene, Big Daddy Cyrus brought him into USWA. There, a brief main event run against the likes of Lawler and Bill Dundee and Sid Vicious. So I have all this great footage of my dad as a kid that he would show me of him beating the shit out of all these guys. And Big Daddy Cyrus ended up quitting because of like it was a horrible time for Memphis wrestling. And I'm not gonna act like anything my dad did in Memphis wrestling was like some great shit that people need to see. But it was my fucking dad, goddammit, and it happened. And he fucking pile drove fucking Sid Vicious in the Mid-South Coliseum. Your dad didn't do it. The guy listening's dad didn't do it. So fuck you. That was my dad, goddammit. And basically the whole channel was me being like, that's my fucking dad. And besides that, there's tons of fucking legendary wrestlers like Madman Pondo, consider him a legend, some people don't. Rip Rogers, Vic the Bruiser. If anybody listening knows about Vic the Bruiser, he's terrific. Chris Michaels. Have you ever heard of Chris Michaels?
No.
That's your homework assignment, Mr. Squints. Chris Michaels, the headliner. Chris Michaels, one of the greatest Southern, Southern wrestlers ever. Past 35 years, Chris Michaels. That's one of the greats. There's a lot of just old school fucking Kentucky wrestling that nobody's ever heard of, besides the people who lived it and experienced it, and those who choose to check it out, which I would recommend. Crush Your Bones Forever is the channel. Sorry if I'm rambling. It's only 12 minutes in. I keep apologizing for rambling.
No, it's
gonna
fine.
happen a lot. I've never done this before, people.
Friend of the podcast and friend of mine, Zach Ruber, he was infamously on, and he told a 2-hour-long story, I'm pretty sure, about how he ran a show, and it was just a whole lot of him just talking and talking and talking, and he was like, "Oh, my bad," and I was like, "No, you're good, brother. You're good."
See, I feel like I've told 2-hour stories already. So,
but
yeah.
But speaking of Zach Ruber, he ran a show called Paulcade, and to my knowledge, you did commentary for a Paulcade in the past, right?
Kind of. we tried. I think that was the first person. Okay, I tweeted out, "Hey, in 2024, I would like to do commentary for one match on one show. That's a dream of mine to just do commentary for one show." And that turned into Chad French messaging me on Twitter and being like, "Okay, yeah, it's you and Manawa Pocket." I'm like, "Okay, wow. Number one, wow. Like, Nick Manawa is the most underrated commentator of the past 15 years, probably, in all of American pro wrestling, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because he's a good hugger, but he does give great hugs. All the Manawas are great huggers, except their father-in-law, the former father-in-law. Never mind. But, yeah. Where was I going with this?
Commentary with Manawa?
Oh, yeah. Nick Manawa, commentary. I just immediately thought of Ian Rotten, and my brain shut off. But yes, the idea to do one match with Nick Manoa with Ian Rotten. Yes, if I could do commentary with Ian Rotten, that would be crazy too. If anybody can set that up, I would do it. I'd be cool with it. Okay, but doing the idea of doing commentary for one match with Nick Manoa, that was insane to me, and I was extremely grateful. And then, I'm like, okay, what match? Or I said something like that to Chad. And oh no, it's the full show. You and Nick, the whole show. It's like, all right, let's fucking run with this. I've never done that shit before. Clearly, anybody who's listened to me speak for any part of the past 15 minutes knows I should never speak in any form of recorded audio ever again. But Chad French made that decision. There were audio difficulties, but God damn it, me and Nick Manoa, the whole show is on YouTube. You can hear us in the background. We're going fucking nuts. Me and Nick Manoa, damn it was awesome. But the audio just didn't come through that great. I know Ron Bass, that piece of human garbage, Ron Bass Jr., fucking piece of shit. Not really. Yes. No, what? Fuck that guy. Ron Bass. Yes, but anyway, the commentary did not go correctly. It is what it is. It was an awesome fucking experience. I kind of got to call a fucking PWI world title match with Shook defending the Pan-African title against Hoodfoot. That was fucking awesome. That was for Chad French to allow me to do that. Thank you, Chad French. It didn't it didn't disappoint me in any way. The whole experience, whether the commentary came out great. All I want in life, though, is one more chance to do commentary with Nick Manoa, and hopefully that happens.
Nick Manoa is the dude. I love Manoa.
You've got to meet him through the St. Louis shows, right?
Yeah, he came to. Yeah, he came to one of the I met him at one of the GCW shows, and then I met him when Gary faced Tanaka, which was one of the craziest fucking experiences live. That was Gary versus Tanaka. That whole night was just crazy to me, and it was also awesome because I saw Masato Tanaka take a nap while sitting upright. He was asleep like this, and he was dead asleep. That was cool.
He was just fucking with you. He wasn't asleep. He was just testing everybody.
I walked. He just didn't want to be bothered.
He was in a concussive state. God damn it! That was not asleep. That was a CTE haze. Damn it, Squids. Have you not watched his shit?
I've watched him and Mike Awesome. ECW One Night Stand 05. EC Dub.
That's it. The two great ECW shows. It was crazy. Those two shows to just establish a whole brand like that, ECW, off of two shows.
I mean, that was my introduction to ECW.
No. I'm just saying it seems like it's been a joke here, with here lately. That it seems like a lot of people believe that all of the Hammerstein shit started those fucking One Night Stand shows.
Yeah. I seen that, and even I knew that wasn't true. I was like,
you gotta just acknowledge the ROH shit that was happening.
Well, that's the thing that I don't understand. Like Ring of Honor, almost made that building more famous. I feel like I don't know.
They were running both levels because the Manhattan Center I think it's the upper level because you got the Hammerstein Ballroom, and then you got the Manhattan Center, which is where the first Raw they ran all those early Raws. That's literally the floor above. They were fucking hauling the ring up through an elevator or some shit. Everything about that whole venue is crazy. And Nick Manoa is going to be there, damn it, in January. Nick Manoa at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And Brett Lauderdale, god damn it, put him in the ladder match. Put him in the fucking the main event. Put him in the main event wrestling, god damn it. He has a great stunner, that Nick Manoa. IWA 20th anniversary show, one of the greatest live experiences. You know, it's a Rumble match. You got 47 and a half men entering the ring slowly, ploddingly. Nick Manoa at the right moment comes in, starts stunnering, rock bottoms, and just beating the dog shit out of everybody. IWTV. Great moment. One of
I
my
need to
favorite moments of the day.
I need to get a code for IWTV so I could say subscribe and use code Squints, but I don't think that'll happen. But no,
They give
Manawa and the
everybody
Hammerstein.
else fucking codes. What the fuck?
I'll just go to Triller TV. I'll just I'll go to what was the other Flow Slam? Was that the other one that was around for a
Flow
bit?
Slam was great. Yeah, I remember using Flow Slam for, I want to say it was the second spring break, and there was another Evolve show. I just had one experience with Flow Slam. It was all right. Like I didn't think, but obviously I lost that footage forever because Flow Slam isn't a thing anymore. Go Fight Live was the shit though. You ever heard of Go Fight Live?
Go Fight Live? No, I've not.
That was ROH's. I know ROH was running. It was Go Fight Live. I think there might have been another streaming service. That was like where the in between them having actual real pay per views, like they had that string of shit where it's Man Up, all those pay per views. What are the other ones? Riot. I can't. It's all a blur to me. Yeah, they had pay per views for a while. Then they had the internet pay per view on Go Fight Live and all that shit. And that's the history of Ring of Honor. That's basically.
And that's all there is to it. And Jerry Lynn won the real title. I know that's a big moment in history.
See, man, I wish I was. I wish I was older than I am, so I could have been around. I was reading about all that shit while it was happening, but I was 13 years old, so I wasn't paying for the fucking DVDs. I was the kind of asshole who would read all of this history about wrestling, but I wasn't able to see it for so long until now. Everything's on YouTube. Everything's a click away. At this point, there's so much wrestling available that I don't even know what to watch. And this is an actual problem I've been having that I want to address in some way. Like there is so much goddamn wrestling that I want to watch, and that is so appealing to watch that I just shut down and I don't want to watch any of it. Like I just like here lately, it's like I can't get into anything. Like I have so much shit downloaded and set up and ready to like go through and post clips of or whatever the fuck I do in my dumb mark bullshit time on Twitter. But here lately, it's fucking like I don't know where to start. I don't know. I'm losing the luster, man.
This is gonna sound so arrogant and like a dickhead of me to say, but I don't watch wrestling. I don't watch wrestling unless I'm like working the show. Like now I'll watch like
No,
I'll
go ahead. I'm
watch
sorry.
I'll watch TV wrestling, but like when it comes to independent wrestling, like unless I'm like at the show or if I'm working the show, I just like I don't know. I can't pull up IWTV and watch wrestling. I don't know.
I feel it. My whole thing is it's hard for me to get into a show unless I'm at the show. I still love attending live wrestling. If I lived in a more convenient area of the country where I could fucking see 2 or 3 shows every week, and I absolutely would. But yeah, I don't know if it's just the state of indie wrestling or just my mental state as a human being, but it's been hard to get into shit the same level here lately.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Bowles.
Mr. Balls, that's correct.
When are you gonna come out to Spalding Hall for St. Louis Anarchy?
Where's my ride, Squints? Where's my
Listen.
personal limousine? Where's my private helicopter?
We can't fit a helicopter in Spalding Hall.
Land it right on fucking top, motherfuckers. Crush that building in.
We'll lose the venue.
That's literally a dream venue. Like, I feel like I've promised multiple people at this point that I would go to Spalding Hall. And I can't guarantee when it's going to happen. When is the next show? In 18 months from now? We got fucked over by
March.
The villain of Virginia?
March 28th. March 28th.
That's a third of a year away, damn it.
March 28th.
Who's even going to be alive by then? This is wrestling, damn it.
March 28th is our next show, and then I have all the dates right here. And then
what's the next show in wrestling that you're a part of filming or doing whatever? Like,
March 28th. I'm not booked until then. That being said, if you are a pro wrestling promoter watching this and you've thought to yourself, oh shit, I need someone to handle hard cam, hit me up. My rate's
you're in
not
Illinois?
high.
Illinois? Somewhere in Illinois?
St. Louis. I'm on the Missouri side of St. Louis.
I have never seen a professional wrestling show in Illinois. Have you ever heard of Strictly Insane Pro Wrestling?
I hit you up about them, remember?
Okay, yes. That is the promotion that is like closest to on the Illinois border to Indiana, to like my deadline, whatever the stopping point is for me in terms of places I'm willing to just drive to on any random weekend. That's right at my cutting off point, and I've just never fucking made it. And they've been running for like 15 years. I'm so fascinated by fucking Strictly Insane. Somebody else can tell you way more about it.
But yeah, we're like on the complete other side of Illinois. Like we're right on the border of Missouri side of Illinois.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking so far out.
That?
But no, you got to get to Spalding. I tell everyone, like, Spalding is like the whole like anarchy atmosphere, moniker, and all that. That's a real thing. When you're in there, it just feels different. It makes you #feel something.
It's like it's nobody's fault, but like I think I've been blocked by multiple people associated with St. Louis Anarchy because I've said it, and it's not their fucking fault. But I'm just stating a fact as a fan of their shows when I watch it, that like the audio is all fucked up. Like you used to just, I don't know. I guess like I don't know. There was a point when they were originally streaming from Spalding before it shut down for a while, that it was just like you could hear everything, and that if you can't hear the crowd for Spalding, like that's like I want to see the awesome wrestling and hear that awesome crowd, and that crowd noise has just not been there, and that has been fucking up me getting into St. Louis Anarchy in terms of the live stream. And I'm really bad about. Sorry, I'm about to puke in my fucking shirt. No, I'm not. I'm really bad about watching wrestling unless it is a live stream. That's another weird deal I have going on. I don't like to check out the VODs, the shows. If I'm not watching it live, I struggled against it. But yeah.
I will tell you, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if anyone at home that is watching this has seen it. Have you seen Anakin Murphy versus Mad Dog Connolly from the last Anarchy?
Fuck it, that's the Man, I was at some show somewhere when at that last Anarchy show when it was happening, so I missed that show. Like I said, I'm very fucked up about only watching live streams, so I have not seen that match. But I've seen what is this? Okay, I have my shit pulled up. Uh, this is somebody I don't know if you follow him. Elliot's Wrestling at on Twitter. Elliot, it's spelled ELLIOTTSWRSTLIN. That fucking guy, if he says it's good professional wrestling, if you're a fan who wants to learn about the history, or if you're a wrestler who wants to like actually be like, good at wrestling and like appealing on like a fucking existential level to like draw fucking the heart out of a motherfucker. There's so much heartless wrestling right now, Squins. But besides that, if you want some shit with some heart, check out Elliot's Twitter. That's my recommendation.
I think he's the account I'm thinking of. He's the one that like dissected Mad Dog and Anakin, right? Like he posted a thread about their match.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's why I brought him up. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Unless my brain's all fucked up, I think that's why I brought up Elliot. I know he said a lot of great things about Connolly. I'm pretty sure it was about that specific match. But yeah, I have not seen the Anakin match. I love Anakin. He's like right. Okay, Connolly's just like a fucking whole different beast. Nothing can compare to Connolly. Like, so, Connolly's right up there as like a god. He's a god. He's a god right now. But, Anakin, he's not that far. He's not, he's got to quit getting dropped on his head as much and start dropping other motherfuckers. And then I will elevate Mr. Anakin Murphy.
I love Anakin Murphy, besides when he's pulling practical jokes on me. And
he fucks with you?
So there's this funny story at the Masato Tanaka show. Him and Zach Sawyers come up to me, and they're like, Squints, we need to fucking talk to you. And Anakin like grabs my arm and pulls me aside, and I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, what's going on, man? And he was like, I need a fucking sticker, and I need it now. And I was like, okay. And just gave him a sticker. But no, Anakin Murphy, he is literally one of my favorite wrestlers. And I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I'm saying that because, well, he's a fucking great wrestler.
Hey, because he's your enemy. That's what makes him a truly good wrestler. If you hate that motherfucker, but you gotta just be like, yeah, all right, he's pretty great. He fucking that's fucked up, man. I'm bigger than him, so I'm gonna and he's a hugger. So next time I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna kind of lure him in with a big old squisher, and then I'm gonna just slam that motherfucker down and just sit on him for a little bit. He'll kick me into the balls, he'll fight me off, and I'm gonna sit on him a little bit just for you. I'm a big dude.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Going back to venues, have you been in? I'm trying to think of other venues. We've talked about Spalding. We've talked about TWE, the TWE Arena. Have you been there yet?
Yes. The first night I went to the TWE Arena was November of 2022 for ICW. Their double shot that they always run in Tennessee. The first night I was driving home or driving to the hotel. It was an awesome fucking night, like out of a fucking movie. Everything was perfect. Everything was just the greatest night of my life. And it was so great. And it was just so wonderful. And I was driving the 15 minutes to my hotel with the friend that had helped throw it on with me. Here's my shout out for his Twitter. He's not watching. And, fuck him. Marth555. That's his Twitter. He doesn't drive. He doesn't have a license, so he's chilling in the passenger seat, and old tripping balls had a back tail light out. Back tail light out, and he's pulled over, and there was a smell of inebriation in the car, Mr. Squints. It was something that you ever heard of Nick Gulas?
Heard of what?
Nick Gulas?
I have not.
He was a Tennessee wrestling promoter who, back in the 70s, who when he learned his wrestlers were using, smoking pot and shit, he didn't understand what smoking pot was. He thought it was a drug. He would go up to his wrestlers and be like, "Get on them goddamn marijuana pills, you son of a bitch!" That's the whole thing. Marijuana pills. Taking marijuana pills. You know Carrie Awful? Ask him. He'll tell you. I don't know. But I was taking marijuana pills in the car. Officer detective was taking marijuana pills. And the whole deal at the TWE Arena was bring your own alcohol, bring your own shit. If you want to drink, you got to bring your own shit. So I had a fucking 6-pack or whatever that I was missing a couple beers in the back. Maybe a couple more. But, I was interrogated by the law and brought into the Silverdale County Correctional Facility. I went to jail, goddammit. You asked me about going to TWE. I spent the night in jail. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I have never been incarcerated before at that point. So it took me being in there I probably got actually booked at about maybe like 1 a.m. that night. And it was probably about 13, 14 hours before I was actually talking to motherfuckers who were explaining to me, like, you got to contact the bail bondsman. You got to fucking do this, and this if you want to get out right now. If not, you're going to be stuck in here until like a couple more days. So I figured all that shit out somehow by the grace of the fucking awesome people that were in the same cell or whatever the fuck, the holding cell with me. I figured out how to bail myself out with my mommy. My mommy helped me Squints. My so I was released from prison just in time to get an Uber back to the hotel, back to my car, which had been parked on the side of the highway. Picked up my car. It hadn't been towed yet. Drove my hotel to my car. You ever done that? I've done it a couple times. That's why I was in jail, Squints, because I drove my hotel to my car. But I drove my hotel to my car. I picked up my friend. I didn't pick him up. We had about an hour and a half until me and Marth555 on Twitter were able to fucking get our asses back to the TWE Arena for the second show. We fucking made it. It was a horrible experience. No, that was something that happened, and I'm glad it did. It resulted in me having to go back. I believe it was a total of 3 times, just for court dates, and then I had to do 48 hours in the fucking in the Silverdale Correctional Facility, which I'm not going to bitch about. I learned things. I was not raped, for the record, but I learned things non-rape related. I saw things non-rape related. Thank God. There was some dicks, though. I did see some dicks. I'm not going to lie. There was some meat flapping, and people got punched for it. But it wasn't me. So I don't want to ever go back to Chattanooga. I did go, okay. I don't want to go back to Chattanooga, but I did go back to Chattanooga after, if you heard of Bobby Banks.
Oh, I love Bobby.
Yes, Bobby Banks is the greatest person I've ever met through wrestling shit. That motherfucker, I don't think he really gives a shit if I say this. That motherfucker flew from where he lives in the country to where I live in the country, picked my fucking ass up in the rent-a-car or whatever the fuck. It brought me to the fucking TWE arena a year later, almost to the day, 2023. I think it was John Wayne Murdoch's last show at ICW, ironically, which was fitting because that's my fucking dude, you know. That's another story. But yeah, Bobby Banks brought my ass there, hooked me the fuck up the whole weekend, took care of me, made sure I was not behind the wheels of a fucking vehicle, and all was well. And that was like probably a month or two before he started doing ETU for the struggles. That was like right before he started doing ring announcing. And Bobby Banks is just the greatest person. Bobby Banks and Nick Manawa, I think, they're in my top five. They're in the Trippin' Balls top five. Always.
I've yet to meet Bobby, and I keep telling him to come on out to St. Louis, and he keeps on telling me to come to him, and I'm
I
like,
tell ICW to bring them out to fucking St. Louis. What are they running out there? Goddamn.
I,
They can't fit a fucking pit fighter deal up in that Spalding Hall. Come on.
I've talked to Danny a couple times, like on the Twitter, and I'm like, hey, bring the chains to St. Louis, and then like I've told him about venues because he'll like post. He's like, "Where's some venues you want to see me?" And I'll comment some venues, and just stuff doesn't work out. He said at one point he said if GCW is running a venue, they can't. Which I don't know. That was a few years ago.
The cursed GCW.
Yeah, but I love GCW. They let me.
Oh,
They
no. Obviously, I've had.
They let me hold the camera for them when they come to St. Louis, and that's
As
all.
they should.
And that's all. That's the way to old Squint's heart. Just hold a
That's the
camera.
way to my heart. That's why I'll never say a goddamn bad word about Cole Rogers or Shane Mercer. They've let me fucking be on the microphone more than anybody so far. Shane Mercer, I was talking about Paul here earlier, in terms of Chad French hitting me up to do the deal with Manawa after I just wanted to do one match. But before that happened, it's been a year almost to the day. Brian Vincent, who used to do a shitload of commentary with Nick Manawa throughout the history of like 2013 to the end of IWA. It was sorry, let me just fucking puke out a little bit, vomiting slightly to all the viewers listening. But Brian Vincent and Nick Manawa were the two main commentators of IWA. Well, I was a big fan of IWA and attending the shows, and he was the main commentator. He is the main commentator for XTF for Shane Mercer and out of the Jeffersonville Arena. And he was just halfway through a show about a year ago. He was like, "Hey, you want to? I know you're doing a podcast. He's kind of stepping in on Chad Spencer's shit. God bless him, but it's all good because it worked out in the end." But he's like, "Hey, man, you want to you want to step in on commentary for this next match?" And the next match was a team, Charles Colton and Trace Evans, the Creekwater Syndicate. Charles Colton is a guy who has been around the Kentucky scene, wrestled a lot of motherfuckers that wrestled my dad back in the day. So to immediately to call a match that he was a part of, he never wrestled my dad, but he's part of that whole scene. So to be able to call a match of his was fucking cool. But then it was Charles Cole and Trace Evans against Madman Pondo, who my dad wrestled. Like a lot of my dad's favorite matches, which are on the Crusher Bones Forever YouTube, were against Pondo, and there's a lot of great Pondo matches that nobody's ever seen anywhere else besides on that fucking channel because my dad kept the tapes and my dad made the tapes. But yeah, my dad wrestled Pondo a lot, and then Pondo's partner was Shadow WX, a fucking Big Japan legend. Fucking set himself on fire in Kurikan Hall. Had almost lost fucking wrestling entirely in that building. That like just the fact that Brian Vincent was like, "Hey, can you come over for this fucking match?" And that was the first match that I was able to call. I can figure out what show. It's on IWTV. But the fact that that like obviously I'm a mark piece of shit, goofy motherfucker. But the fact that like I mean that just they gave me good vibes, Squints, goddammit. And I ended up being on commentary for the rest of that show, and I've been with XCF doing their shit since then, which is XCF is like Shane Mercer. It's a lot of the indie wrestlers that I've seen Ron Bass Jr. there, John Wayne Murdoch, Reed Bentley, Sachi Jin is their champion, Lord Crew, Gary J, Aaron Williams, shitload of fucking great wrestlers. Wait, did I say Ron Bass was a great wrestler? Fuck that piece of shit. But great wrestlers besides Ron Bass, and as well as a lot of guys that Shane Mercer came up with in the backyard scene in Kentucky, which is obviously nobody really knows about the indie wrestling scene in Kentucky, much less the backyard scene in Kentucky. So it's like a combination of Shane Mercer highlighting his fucking friends that he's known for 20 fucking years, uh, as well as the fucking uh, bigger names of Midwest, Mid South, whatever the fuck area indie wrestling. And people, I don't feel like it's gone under the radar of a lot of people, but I wish there was more eyes on XCF right now because they got a show coming up in January that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, yes, that's what I got coming up. Besides Midwest Territory, Cold Radder, yes, I can talk about that, but it's your turn. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. Cole Radrick though, and Chad French. I love those guys. I love Chad.
Cam. That's the fucking dude.
He
Cam Adams. That's
I've yet to meet him.
That's the fucking guy to meet. I can't believe I haven't mentioned him. That's the fucking guy to know. It's just like good people that supports good wrestling, good wrestlers. Um, a lot of what Paradigm Pro Wrestling pulled off would never have been possible if Paradigm's over. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, a lot of what they've done wouldn't be possible without Cam Adams. Cam is the fucking best. Like everybody in this area of wrestling should know. Yeah, yeah, he's a big him. Chad French and Cole, I guess, would be the figureheads of Midwest Territory
The
wrestling.
figureheads of Midwest Territory. This next question is: I ask every guest this. If there was one piece of advice you could give the audience, what would it be?
Um, Jesus Christ! Do you have any other questions? Can we save that? Can we save that for a little bit? God damn it, Squints! I've been rambling for so long, and you just dropped the fucking heaviest question. Fucking, God, I don't fucking know, man. Um, uh, Jesus Christ. Uh, I don't know. Is there another question?
All right, I'll ask an alternate final question. This one being, what is the nicest thing you have done for an elderly person?
My dad's mom, um, Crusher Bones. I've been talking about him a little bit throughout tonight. The Crusher Bones Forever on YouTube is the account. She is, I think, 82 years old. Okay, my dad died in February of 2022. Um, or liver failure. There's like I think his heart gave out at the end. There's whatever the fuck. And my grandfather was cradling him in his fucking arms, and my dad was fucking trying to fucking give him CPR and resuscitate him, and my fucking dad was pushing him off and fucking like seizing up and fucking died. Uh, and that was the last time my fucking grandparents were around my father, who lived in Florida. I live in Kentucky, so I was nowhere around that. Uh, this is a very long answer, but my grandfather was there in his last moments, cradled him as he fucking died. Called the fucking. My grandmother was standing right there. Called the fucking the ambulance or whoever the fuck you call when that happens. I haven't been in that situation, thankfully, but yeah, Bon Voyage, Crusher Bones, and so a year later, a little over, not even a year later, a few months later, the fucking funeral. My grandparents come to fucking Kentucky to bury my dad's remains, and uh, my grandfather gave a fucking great speech, and it's incredible. And then he goes back to Florida, and a few months, like 3 or 4 months later, he dies within a year of my fucking father passing away in his arms. My grandmother finds him fucking dead in his bed, and just has to go back in her fucking her living room. 60 years married to a man since she was fucking 20 years old. Has never known a life without him. Has to fuck. It's never known a life without without him, without her son, her other son, who died before my fucking dad, a long fucking time. That's that's bullshit. Nobody needs to hear. Nobody needs to hear this bullshit. And you asked me, so I'm answering. Um, yeah, my grandmother went through all that shit. 80 something years old. Went through the whole process of selling her fucking house. Um, so she could move all of her shit back to Kentucky where she was born to fucking die. And for the past 4 or 5 months, about 4 months, I every couple times a week, every week, whatever the fuck, just taking her everywhere the fuck she wants, letting her ramble and just get all the fucking shit off of her chest, picking her up from the airport, being there for her to call when she has nobody else, being the person that her son should have been if he took better care of himself. That being there, I don't know how long I'm going to have my grandmother, and now you're going to get me fucking babbling and sobbing. But just to be there for her is something I've never been able to be for another person. and I would never wish upon anybody else to have to be there for somebody like this. And I have a sister, for the record, but she's not in a lot of contact with my grandmother. But just to be there for her as she's whatever, just so she can be her while she fucking can be. I don't know. I've learned more about my grandmother in the past few months than I have ever before, and I don't know. It feels nice to be there for somebody. I guess they're an elderly person. Yes, that's my answer.
Have you thought of any life advice?
Be there for your grandmother and for your mother, and for anybody who ever actually truly uh, fucking loves you. Like you live enough of a life, you will realize what love is, and hopefully that realization comes sooner than later, so you can love the people that deserve that love while you're able to love them. Because I haven't been able to, Mr. Squints, but I'm trying to do that with Carol Turner, Crusher Bones, and Mother. Goddamn.
Awesome. And then before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to plug, such as your YouTube? I know you've been touching on what you're doing coming up, but if you want to just touch on that again real quick.
Okay, here, let me pull up the exact dates. Thank you for being so kind to me in my tripping balls state of mind. XCF January the 11th at the Jeffersonville Arena. Let me say some of the matches. God damn it. I'm not that good of a commentator because I don't know them off the top of my head. Have you ever met Gaston LaRue?
No, I have not.
You heard that name at all? It's cool if you haven't. I'm not fucking.
It sounds very, very familiar.
He's fucking fun. He's a fucking Kentucky branching out Midwest guy. He's awesome. Gaston LaRue. But anyway, he's at the XCF show. The fucking biggest deal coming up at XCF. If you know Nick Depp is, if you've heard of him, he's been wrestling for fucking 0-1 lately, I think.
Yep.
Nick Depp.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick
He
Depp.
He was at JJ Garrett.
Yeah, Nick Depp versus Jay coming up January 2025, on January 11th at the arena. That's gonna be fun. The first time I saw JJ Garrett was IWA 20th anniversary show 2016. He lost the IWA world title to Tracy Smothers. Got fucked over by that son of a bitch. It was tragic. But the main event of the XCF show, Satu Jin and Omega. Have you heard of Omega? He's a Louisville. I'm not gonna fucking fault you if you haven't. That is an Omega. That is not the Omega of which I am referencing. The Omega I'm talking about. He's based out of Kentucky. He's the current Paradigm. I think it's the heavy hitters champion. He's a Kentucky guy who's been branching out lately. He's one of the guys. He might be in the 5 that I was referencing earlier. Omega's up there. Satu Jin. If you heard of Satu Jin,
it sounds very familiar.
Fucking he's got a big fucking dreadlock hanging out the back of his head, and he hacks motherfuckers up with a machete. He's from the Rejects. He's the XCF champion. That's the fucking main event for that show. And then Midwest Territory, their next show is February the 7th in Spencer, Indiana, at the venue whose name I cannot remember at this moment. The Owen Valley Sports Complex. There we go. And no matches have been announced yet, but Lobo Okami, who is a big, badass, scary motherfucker who hasn't wrestled. I thought he was dead. I thought he was buried in a graveyard of a jail underwater in a fucking concrete pit. But he's come back after over a year, and he's been fucking up Cole Radrick shit. And honestly, I've been encouraged to enjoy it. And I'm really digging what's going on in terms of Cole Radrick getting beat up in Midwest territory. Ben Sheeran brand, a great bald-headed gentleman who has been establishing greatness in Midwest territory, as will be revealed when they haven't released their fucking first show yet. So spoilers, but shit's coming, man. But that's okay. I'll shut up.
Anything else?
No, man, I've said too much. God damn it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, guys, that's
I
been
love
it
these
for this.
plans.
Back at you, bulls. Oh, this is gonna do it for this episode, guys. As always, you can leave a thumbs up, a thumbs down, 1 star, 5 stars, like, comment, subscribe, or don't. I don't give a shit. That is gonna do it for this episode. Let me hit the outro real quick. Wait for it. Bye.